should be aware that Nnamdi Kanu has got a new lawyer, uh, Kanu Agabi, former Attorney
Attorney
General
General.
of
Okay.
the Federation. And his trial is to resume before another judge, Omotosho, in April. And Kanu Agabi came to court to tender an apology on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu. And we are told that it was a condition that he gave that if he is to lead the Kanu's defense, then an apology for Kanu's conduct in the court the other time has to be tendered. And he read a long apology to the court. You know, we discussed it, and there was a lot of comments that were mostly negative when I made the statement that his conduct in court that day was unbecoming. So Kanu Agabi has now made an apology on his behalf with his consent, that he has apologized to the former judge. What is the judge's name again? Justice Nyako.
Binta Nyako.
Yes, he has apologized to Awolomo, who was the prosecuting counsel, SAN. He has apologized to his own lawyers that he insulted. He has apologized to everybody. So, you see, that is what I was trying to talk about. We want him to transition to where people can
reason with him.
Although we already reason with him, where we can key into his fight. But when it is insult, abuse, and this thing is difficult, even if you agree or reason with it, it's difficult to key into that. His wife has also come out to say that yes, Kanu Agabi did the apology with the consent of her husband. So I think these are the right steps. This apology has helped to bring down the temperature of his case, and I think going forward we will see something much better, and maybe progress will be achieved in his.
Honestly, I didn't know this. I think yesterday I just came across that news, but I was busy, so I didn't read what happened in court. So you are just bringing this to my notice. This is new. Everything you just said about the Kanu is news to me. I didn't even hear that name, Kanu Agabi. Not to talk of him taking over the whatever. That's interesting. That's a new, very, very strong twist, sort of. However, honestly, I do not see the need for that apology. Honestly, what is that? And that is, look, I'm very sure Kanu himself, the Nnamdi Kanu, didn't. He may have approved it, but he may have approved it in a grudging way. That is just it. And if he approved it, he could have come out public or issued a note to that effect. I am very, very sure that Nnamdi Kanu didn't do that. They just not even coerce. They just try to persuade him, convince him to do that. But he didn't approve that from his heart. It's not because but you and I disagreed on that issue. His conduct was based on his situation was anybody in his situation. If I were in his shoes, I told you I would do the same thing. Why? Because you can't flog someone. You cannot flog someone and expect the person not to cry.
Even the apology recognized that he had reasons to be angry, but he expressed it in an angry way. The new judge, I didn't even say it all. The new judge also apologized to Kanu.
Yes, I think I read that. The
judge also apologized for his travels all this while. All these things, and we are told that Kanu Agabi insisted on an apology if he was to come into his case and lead the defense of Kanu. Otherwise, he will not take up the case.
Yeah, that is that. Hey, maybe again,
that is the driving
force. Yes. That is why Kanu agreed to do that. But like I said, if Kanu if he was convinced that he did the wrong thing, he could have at least put out a note to the public. Honestly, that is just because me, honestly, this issue of apology, I didn't see anything wrong Kanu did. I disagree. This is one come. Now, get scared. You and I, we are not on the same page. Me, I loved what he did. The display he made at the court that day, or in court that day. Honestly, that is just so this issue of apology. That is not. But that Kanu Agabi is the lead counsel now. That is huge. It is huge for someone like Kanu Agabi who has a reputation in law. It obviously means that the case will actually have turn a new leaf. There will be a twist. It's a dramatic twist on that because he is going to use his influence. He will exert his influence as a very influential attorney general. I think he was the attorney general during Obasanjo, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So and during his reign, I think he was relatively, wasn't a perfect attorney general, but he was better than so many attorney generals. He relatively did the right thing, sort of. So he relatively guided Obasanjo because Obasanjo adhered to some laws actually, because this issue of president being lawless is actually dependent on the attorney general. The attorney general has so much power in convincing the president not to do the right thing, either to do or not to do the right thing, or whatever, when it comes to law. So, just like what we have the current attorney general coming talking nonsense about this issue of declaration of state of emergency.
I'm surprised by Fagbemi's vituperations, his utterances. They
Honestly.
really surprised me.
Honestly.
When telling governors that they should be on their toes. Who gives him that power?
Honestly.
Who gives the president
That's the
power?
point. That's the issue of the attorney general I'm talking about.
Discipline governors. So in all these attorney generals, I read them. Kanu Agaibi and Mohammed Adoke happens to be, who was attorney general during
Jonathan, yes,
the best attorney generals,
yes, honestly,
so far.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So Kanu Agabi being involved, that means that case will actually will now become something interesting, and I think I foresee Kanu being released. Even it may not be just that soon, but he will be eventually released. That's just it because Kanu Agabi is a very decent lawyer, very responsible lawyer. I think he's someone I like. That's our documentary about the judiciary. He was supposed to be one of the guests on that documentary. For whatever reason, I think I don't know. It's not something I want to talk about here. It's sort of, but we didn't feature him anymore. All right. That is it. Thank you for bringing on this topic. You are the one who brought it because this Nnamdi Kanu topic wasn't on my. I didn't know this. Like you gave me this news. So anyway, that is what this show is all about. This show is an interactive show. It's just a discussion show. We just that's the way it goes. We can ask questions both ways. The question goes both ways. For those of you who don't know the modalities of this platform, questions can go. Barrister, even though he's a guest on this show, I guess technically he's not. This show permits him with anyone we are featuring on this show. It's an interactive show. You can the guest can ask me questions and I can ask. It can go both ways. It's a two-way traffic. This show is just a two-way traffic, and so it's an opinion and an interactive show. So for those of you who did not know, this is not a journalistic, in quote, journalist. It's not a journalistic show. I am not a journalist. And that is just it. I'm just someone who is doing what he thinks is needful for our society, and that is just the reality.